So I don't actually know the answer to this. Do you know why jump rope got big in boxing? Like, is there a story of like some boxer from a long time ago being like the person to introduce it? You know, because like you don't see any other sports that use jump rope like boxing. I don't think anyone does boxing training without jumping rope, right? All right, y'all, JRD Athletes. I'm here with Javier Ponce, Compton Boxing.
Owner of Compton Boxing Gym here in the city of Compton, of course.
Yes, sir. On today's video, I wanted to explore why boxers jump rope and why do you think boxing as a sport uses so much jump rope versus like other sports?
Well, one of the main things, boxing, you need to have a lot of conditioning. One of the main parts, timing, coordination. When you jump rope, it's all about timing and coordination as well, right? When you're jumping, you got to be on the balls of your feet. Depending on how much speed you add to the jump rope, you have to match the speed on your feet and your hands as well, right? Let's say like your wrist. If you pick up too much of the speed on the wrist and you don't pick up the speed on your feet, of course you're gonna mess up and everything's gonna go out the door. Jumping rope and boxing is pretty much the same thing because you need coordination when you're stepping in with a punch. You need timing when you're fighting an opponent, whatever it is. You're fighting for 12 rounds, right? Let's say you're boxing for 12 rounds, 3-round minutes. Sometimes you see a little bit of times where fighters are like really explosive and kind of like double unders, right? When we do double unders, it's like really explosive, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you do maybe like 20 double unders and it's really tiring, So pretty much the same thing as when you're fighting and you're throwing a big volume of punches, right? You're gassing out. That's where kind of like double unders or like the explosive part of jumping rope comes in.
So when you have like fighters come in, do you always have them jump rope immediately as training?
So you could use it two ways. One, you could use it to warm up. So instead of like, you could do your stretches, whatever, but to warm up, kind of like get everything going, your blood adrenaline and everything. Stay a little bit light on your feet. But most of the times, I always make them jump rope first, right? We make them jump rope first. If it's like the beginner's class, they say that they're beginners, 2 or 3 rounds of jump rope. If they're a little bit more advanced, we'll do like 6 rounds. 3-minute rounds with a 30-second break.
Oh, 3 minutes.
3-minute rounds.
Okay, so 3. Yeah, I was going to ask you that because like I feel like most of the workouts on the channel are like 30-second increments, minute-long increments. So like you have people right away going like 3 minutes, 30 seconds rest.
Yeah, 30-second rest. 3 minutes, 30-second rest when you're training. Let's say you're fighting. A professional fight is 3 minutes and then it's a 1-minute break. So let's say you're jumping for 3 minutes. You're doing 3 minutes, last 30 seconds when the bell hits. In the gym, it's 30 seconds before the round ends, right?
Okay.
So every time it's like 30 seconds before the round ends, it's like explosive. Like last 30 seconds, go all out, high knees, anything that you can do at that point because, everybody has a different level. And jump rope. So let's say 30 seconds double unders, last 30 seconds, or high knees, or whatever it is, like a fast skip, just give it your all in those last 30 seconds. You want to break and then you go back to it again. So yeah, you either start them off, you could say 15 minutes straight, no break. 15 minutes, no. It depends on the trainers, coaches, the gym you go to.
Yeah, dude, you're making me realize like I need to be a little bit harder on you guys. You need to come out. If you're a beginner, I want you doing 15 minutes right out the gate.
15 minutes straight for sure, yeah.
Do people ever complain about like foot injuries or like people who haven't jumped rope before? Do you have them go right into 3-minute rounds or do you try to like, obviously I'm sure you teach them the basics of it first before like skipping?
Yeah, you always teach them like the basics. A lot of kids or let's say adults, they're always like, oh, I don't know how to do this, but it takes time, Let's say if it's like a person that's doing personal training or it's like their first time training or they don't do like no cardio at all, I take it down to like 2 minutes, 2 minutes with a 30-second break or I'll do like a 1-minute break. And if it's still too much for them, I'll take it down to 1 minute.
Yeah.
Because you always have to work with people because a lot of people, that myth, like jumping rope is bad for your knees.
Yeah.
You heard that one?
Yeah. Which is a myth.
Yeah, it's a lie. It's a lie.
It is, yeah. Well, I always say too, especially if you're doing it improperly, yeah, it can be hard on your joints if you're like slamming it down. But if you're doing it the correct way, it's definitely lower impact, in my opinion, than jogging.
Yeah, it is. Because I ran, like I told you earlier, like I run like 6-7 miles, so you feel it more on your knees. A little bit more tax on your knees. I've never really felt like that when I jump rope. Like I jump rope, before I used to do like an hour and 10 straight, like nonstop. When I started.
What the fuck? Are you serious?
Yeah.
An hour and 10 minutes?
Yeah, like nonstop.
With like what kind of rope?
Speed rope.
Okay.
Yeah, not.
I mean, dude, doesn't matter. That's an insane amount of time to skip.
Yeah, I used to do it for like an hour and 10 because I fell in love with it pretty much. I started jumping rope and at first I always tell kids like when you start, it's boring, right? Because you don't know how to do nothing. It's just like the basic skip. Then the one everybody learns first, like the boxer skip. That's like the first one everybody learns. Then we start doing like all the crazy stuff, like you get into it, like you want more and more. That's why I used to jump rope for an hour and 10. Like you get hyped up pretty much. Like, oh, I'm learning all this stuff, So I used to do it for that long.
I got a video on the channel that's like I jumped rope for 25 minutes straight. Like I gotta redo that video, man. That's insane, dude.
Yeah.
Is that the longest you've ever skipped?
I think one time I went to like an hour and 30.
Damn.
Not straight, of course. I would
Yeah.
say like I will always do rounds. Yeah.
Dude, why do you think? So I don't actually know the answer to this. Do you know why jump rope got big in boxing? Like, is there a story of like some boxer from a long time ago being like the person to introduce it? You know, because like you don't see any other sports that use jump rope like boxing. I don't think anyone does boxing training without jumping rope, right?
Yeah, that's true. Because even like MMA, UFC fighters and stuff like that, they jump rope, but it's like just a little bit, you know. And I think one of the biggest ones, let's say Mayweather, made it really like big because he was one of the recent fight, like one of the most recent fighters. Pretty much retired already. He's still fighting like exhibition fights, but if you watch his jump rope videos, they're crazy, you know. Like
I'm thinking of that one. There's like one in particular. I think like Fight Hype did it.
Yeah.
And he's like doing the double under crisscrosses, and it's
and
got
then,
like
the little like skip and stuff like that. With, he does like triple unders too, and then like he circles around, kind of like circling around like in the ring.
Yeah.
For me, that was one of like my favorite videos. So I got into it because him and Mike Tyson. So let's say when you do like I call it the Mike Tysons, like when you jump rope and you go kind of like a squat
jump. Yeah.
Like anybody that says like, hey, have you tried the Mike Tysons? I'm like, that's how I know that's Mike Tyson because he was one of the first ones kind of like to like do crazy moves. Roberto Duran, he was like pretty good on it. Sugar Ray Leonard, he was really good at it too.
Dude, he was like, I did a video on him not long ago. He was like, he had a very unique jump rope style, like different than anything I think I've ever seen.
And his jump rope was really short. If you notice, it's like literally like right off above his head.
You're right, because when he's doing the like, he's like doing side swings and his wrists are like right here, like he's holding it super low. Yeah.
So I think they were one of the main ones, and of course Rocky.
Yeah.
I know it's a movie, but like that scene with his jumping rope and like he's going like super hard on double unders, and a lot of people are like, oh, his form is like his form is like trash or like all this stuff. But like just watching him train like in the movie, we all know it's a movie, but when you're small, you're a kid, you're like, I want to do that, you know?
It's funny you mention that because I remember specifically, I think we even have a video where like I'm talking about how much I love Rocky, but I'm like, dude, the only thing that kills me is how hard he's slamming his knees down. Yeah, we did a video a while back of me like running up the Rocky steps and like redoing the whole intro scene and shit. It was pretty funny.
It's crazy though, because a lot of people always say like, I mean, social media, there's so many like different ways to show how to jump rope. Let's say when you grab a jump rope, like the grip, I've seen a lot of people talk about the grip, like how you're supposed to hold it. A lot of people like to hold it like kind of like the thumbs facing upwards like this, or people hold it just off the tip of the handle. You know, normally I see you going like this, but it all depends on the rope too. Heavy rope is like
Heavy ropes, yeah, I always wrap the thumb just because like, yeah.
I think it's the same thing with a lot of fighters. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, he doesn't do it right, but it's like everybody learns a different way.
Do you know of any fighters that have been successful at boxing and not good at jumping rope?
I could say Canelo, he's really successful,
Yeah.
but his jump rope is really basic.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
just, even his double under, like you see him, he's like super stiff. You
Yeah.
know? I don't know if you've seen that video. Where he's doing
No, I
double under.
haven't. No.
It's like he doesn't have bad form, but even like, you know, when we're doing double under, it's like smooth. He's like super stiff. I guess like the craziest one he's done is like the boxer skid.
Yeah.
That's about it. But you never see him doing like anything crazy. You know?
Yeah, like I feel like Floyd Mayweather had like a flow. Like some of the stuff he does with his feet looks so easy, but it's so difficult. Like you were talking about when he's like prancing around and he's doing this like almost like double tap boxer skip type thing, but it's like a really difficult move if you don't, but he makes it just like look like he's floating.
And he mixes it in with other tricks too, you know? Like he makes it like the way you see it, you're like, damn, you know, like you see it and you're like, fuck, I want to do that too, you know? Even Caleb Plant, he's one of the new ones. He's really good.
He's fun to watch.
I tried to do his move. I was like, it's like a dance. I don't know what dance it is. I don't know what they call it, but it's kind of like on his heels.
The like turnout thing. I know what you're talking about, dude. That is the hardest. Yes, I've seen a few other people do that, and I can't get down. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, or like the kind of like here. They go on their heel and they just
Yes, yeah. Lauren Jumps is someone, she does like a lot of trick jump roping, and she has this move that she basically like does some.
I've seen her before, Her tricks are crazy. Yeah, she's really good too. There's this other fighter too. I think he's like the best. Like you can say Mayweather is good, but I think this guy's I don't know his name. It's he's Filipino though. He used to train at
Brian Valoria.
That's him, right?
Yeah.
He's crazy. Like
Yes, I feel like he was, when I bring up jump rope on YouTube, or I used to search for jump rope videos to make, there's four names that always come up: Roberto Duran, Brian Valoria, Mike Tyson, and Floyd Mayweather. As like those guys are like the jump rope, you know, phenoms basically of the internet.
Yeah, as far as fighter goes, them.
Yeah. Do you have any advice to like young kids or like just people who want to get into jump rope, like beginners, like how they should? Because I feel like, you know, we have a lot of beginner videos on the channel, but like someone who's running running a boxing gym, you might have like a different approach to it. So if someone comes in here, no jump rope skills, like how do you typically what do you show them?
So what I teach you the first days is kind of like the skip, of course, because one of what everybody does, I used to do it too. Like I think it's just like your mind, like you're like jumping rope, and you think when you're skipping, the rope is literally like this thick, right?
Yeah.
Depending on the rope, like heavy ropes could be a little bit thicker, but normally I let them use the speed rope, right? It's like this thick, and I guess it's just like your mind when you're rotating the rope and you're grabbing speed. The first thing that goes through your mind is like jump high.
Yeah.
You know? So they're like jumping high. Like
I got to get over the rope.
Yeah.
I got to, yeah.
But it's like this small, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not jumping over a box or anything. So first, like relax your body. Don't tense up. Like your shoulders don't get tight from the top. Same thing with boxing. Like when people start boxing, they spar for the first time. They're like this, you know? Like they're throwing a punch and they're like, oh, like, you know, like super stiff and stuff like that. Same thing with jumper. Like gotta relax, you know? Like relax your body. You know, like kind of like sit up straight a little bit, core a little bit tighter. And when you jump, small skip. That's all you need. Small skip. You jump too high and you keep swinging the rope. By the time the next skip comes, you're still in the air pretty much, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I tell them. And one of the main things I've noticed from coaches, it's that they expect kids to learn from one day to another. Sometimes I tell them, like, you're going to do this, you're going to jump rope, don't rush it. Like in 2 weeks, you're going to notice, like, you're learning by yourself, you know? Just like take it slow, try not to get injured or anything, right? If you get tired, relax a little bit, then go back to it again. So that's what I tell them, you're not going to learn in one day. And I can't teach you the timing. You got to get your timing by yourself, because you're the one feeling the rope. When you're rotating, when you're jumping and everything, I could show you the technique.
It's a flow.
Right?
Yeah, it's a flow. It's something that you have to figure out. It like it is a science, but it has to be, you're totally right. Like it's something, you can't do something else to get better at it. You have to just do that.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to just keep skipping over and over again.
Yeah, that's my main thing. Like, take your time. A lot of people walk into gyms and they're like, I'm afraid that people are gonna see me and they're gonna be like, oh, like what is this guy doing in here? He doesn't know how to throw a punch. He doesn't know how to do this. A lot of kids, they walk in here, they look at everybody else and they're like, oh, I can't do it. So they're gonna make fun of me. I'm like, just forget about everybody else and just concentrate on yourself.
That's so true. For anyone who's afraid of jumping rope in public, we understand. But sometimes you got to look stupid to get through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, always.
You said something too that I feel like I haven't focused on, which is like, dude, be loose. I feel like that's such a huge part of it, that the reason they trip or jump too high is because they're like, the rope's coming around, I have to get over it. Instead of like you're saying, like just be more relaxed and like think about if you have music on or something and you're like doing it to a beat and you're just kind of like dancing or flowing. It's more of that than this strict like, okay, here comes rope, I jump. Here it comes again. You know, it is like kind of like this dance that you sort of figure out as you practice. All right, bro, give me your top 3 jump rope tricks that you like to do.
It's crazy because everybody learns this one. This is like the first one they learned, and it took me forever to learn it. Double under.
Yeah.
Everybody learns that one, and a lot of kids would know how to do it, and I never learned it. I learned crosses first. I learned the boxer skip first, and I mean, normally the cross is like harder than the double unders. A lot of people say that, right? Double unders, I'm gonna say the cross.
Running in place or just both feet, or like a variation?
So the cross, because it's a lot of variation. So let's say if you're doing the cross and you're doing it with high knees and just like running in place like super fast, or like kind of like the cross where you hold it.
Yeah, the double, yeah.
So that's was one of my favorite ones because they just different variations, like you said, right? So double unders, the cross. You could even do double unders with the cross. You get me? So that would be my second one, and the Mike Tyson.
Yeah. I got to warm up before I do those, bro. I got to make an updated video. We made a video on it like 6 years ago, and I'm like, I know I need to do another one, but like, shit, those are difficult.
Yeah.
You know?
If you're like jumping rope for like 5 minutes and you try to do that, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, that's not gonna make your knees feel good.
Yeah, you gotta stretch a little bit, or at least 15 minutes into a rope, and then start doing them.
Yeah.
And so even though sometimes you're still like you're not feeling it, so like if you're like going down a little bit, you're like, it's not the day. It's not the day.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, Mike Tyson's, I'm gonna say the cross first, double unders, and Mike Tyson.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, bro, I feel like that was you've covered a lot with boxing and stuff. I just want people to know this is Compton Boxing. How can they find you on the internet, socials, all that?
So on Instagram is Compton Boxing, no underscore nothing, no space, just all together. Compton Boxing Gym. Personal page Javier_Ponce_2.
Thank you for having me down to the gym. I hope this is the beginning of a new hobby for me. And, you know, jump rope, I feel like, how can you do jump rope without doing some kind of boxing? It's like they both go hand in hand. So I feel like, yeah, man, thanks for just being open to having me down. And
no problem. Maybe you'll see him hit the mid soon or in the ring. You never know.
Here we go. All right, y'all. Later.